we'll do this. We shall make sure that the servo is centred. Get the receiver and the speed control. So all the wires out first. That's it. We'll get the batteries in the transmitter, fresh batteries. Having 2.4 gigs nice, so easy. Just 4 batteries. Not like the 27 megs and the 40 megs where they were using between 6 and 8 batteries. So that's that done. This is where I usually make a mistake and put them in the wrong one. So we need I think, because I always do it wrong. I never really pay attention to things. I should do really. Slide that in there. Get a charged battery. Transmitter on. First time. We are doing well. Vibrate a little bit. So we'll get the trims as central as we can. Sure, all because this remote has endpoints on throttle and steering, so make sure that they're turned up for now. So that's one centred servo. It's as simple as that. So we'll get rid of those for now. Don't need them just yet. Move on to bag C. Have the servo saver there and the servo arm itself, and also a little bag of 3 adapters onto the servo. Let's see which one that we need. That is going to be a trial and error, because they do actually state for other servos but not their own. I think it's going to be that one. That's the snuggest fit. The other one's too small. We'll slide that into the servo saver. It might actually have the Kyosho one on. Oh, it does, it has the Kyosho one, I didn't notice that. So you get 3 others for different servos. And you want the servo to be laying that way, so the output shafts, as you look at it face on, is on your left, because it's going to go directly up. the arm on. Get it as physically straight as you can. Obviously you don't need it perfectly straight because that'll be taken out with your trim on your radio. No car's perfectly straight. And this just has two types of screws and there's only one round headed one. So I'm going to assume this one might not be. No, it did actually counter someone. You'd have thought they'd have used a round headed one just to make it a little bit different. Again, we'll just snug that up. Doesn't need to be over tight. That's where you can get a grip on it though. There we go. Let's make sure that the servo saver works, which it does. Always got to have servo savers on. And we get the servo mount. Right, let's see where it goes round. So the arrow points to the back and just slips over like that. Nice and easy. And two holes there. Just move that to the side. That just pops in. Two countersunks again. Snug that up. That's it. And finally, get it on. The arm just snaps on. Ball joint on top. That's the servo in. So we'll move on to the next step, which is installing the receiver and speed control. Which, when I'm looking at the bag, doesn't actually include any double-sided tape. Like I said, luckily I've already got some, so no detriment there. There's the aerial tube. Right, so we shall take the speed controller off. Got a little bit of double-sided tape. Stop it rattling about in the car while you're going over jumps. Do the same with the speed controller. Not take the backing off just yet, make sure that we position them right, because the speed control does actually need to stick through the main gap at the top. So put that in first. So yeah, that's roughly going to fit. Yeah, you don't need to measure it up, you don't need to be massively accurate. It's quite a big gap to get your heat sink through. I might actually face it the other way because the battery lead is quite small. So let's see if it'll fit the other way. Which it will, so we'll face it with the main battery at the back. So I'll take the pad off. Stick the receiver in as far back as it'll go. So I've got plenty of room for the speed controller. Take the pad off that. Put that nice and close. It doesn't need to be snug up, but nice and close to the receiver. Sort the wires out again. And we'll plug this back in. Into channel 2. That's that in. Take the wire down the side of it, keep it nice and tidy. Now I have noticed there's not actually any way to put the switch. None that I can see anyway. Oh, is there? Oh, there is. Oh, it's just there, look. So we'll put that on. I don't know if we'll be able to run it round. Oh, we can, look. So there's a little groove in the switch, and there's a little groove there that it just sits in. Looks a little bit fiddly. There we go. So we'll tidy that cable up. And the battery wire down. We'll have those wires coming up to the motor. Will we be able to get them round? Don't know if they'll be long enough. They might just be long enough. So we'll try that first. If it don't work, we can always change it again. Just put the antenna through. Slip it back into the notch. Pull it through a little bit more. Sure the capacitor's on in the right place on the back of the speed controller. Here we are. Here's the wires coming out the bottom. And that's the next bit done. Now we could have run that through there, but I'm thinking slightly ahead because I may change the servo at some point. We'll see how it goes, because I tend to kill servos, and with it only being a cheap factory servo, I'm not expecting it to last very long. So it's best to kind of future-proof. Instead of taking everything out of there and messing your wires up, just for now, we shall do it this way. Get the wire of the servo, speed controller wire slightly out of the way. Might be better pulling that out. And slip the speed controller in. Excuse me, arms and hands being in the way. These little fiddly jobs that you'll know what you're doing when you come to it. And there we have, just tidy that cable up with probably a cable tie. Like I said, I'm not running it through for the simple fact that I'll probably end up changing it, so there's no real point in me running it through the main part of the box. So that's the receiver and speed controller in.